Previously on Fabulous.
So I think that it's important that as much as we watch what people say over our children, it's also important for us as parents to watch what we say over our children. I mean, Auntie Diana was just playing some amazing music and I'm trying to sing and I just sat back and I'm like, oh my God, you can't sing.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Fabulous, the family-focused TV channel dedicated to supporting African families to be united, to thrive, to succeed, to be fulfilled, and to do well. Because once we can touch the family, we can touch our community. Once we can touch our community, we can touch our African countries. Today we'll be looking at conflict in marriage or relationships. Now, the two people that enter into marriage or a relationship have been trained, cultured, and brought up in different homes and in different ways with different styles. And then all of a sudden, they say we are coming together to settle down for the rest of our lives. A lot of the time, some things happen. But when they happen, they are not the death kennel that will destroy the relationship. What must you know? What must you do? How do you handle conflict that arises in relationships and in marriage? I have a very powerful guest on the show today, Mrs. Flora Saki, retired educationist, and somebody who has written on this topic and spoken at conferences, seminars, events, and workshops on the topic. Stay tuned as we delve deep into the issue of temperaments and how they affect or impact marriage or relationships. This Saki, now let's turn our attention to conflict in marriage. The big one. First of all, what is conflict? What is conflict in marriage? Or what would you describe as a conflict?
Conflict is a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding between two people or two groups of people. So in marriage, there's a misunderstanding between a wife and a husband. That's conflict.
Okay. And what are some of the things you would say are conflicts?
When we don't see eye to eye with each other, sometimes the conflict over money, how money is spent, how money is acquired. Sometimes one spouse may break trust. It can be that the wife is not very comfortable with the way her husband relates to a particular lady, known or unknown. Or sometimes it can also be the other one. The man may also be particularly uncomfortable, even when his wife goes to the hairdresser. Sometimes they are not sure, they are not saying it, just speculation, suspicion, and that can bring conflict. Sometimes raising the children. Sometimes one spouse may not like the way the other person handles the children. Some women, attack their husband because they think they are too harsh on the children, and then that can be in a conflict. Sometimes, if the spouses don't know the temperament of the children, sometimes. When I was growing, my mother was choleric, and she was too harsh with me. That was silent, and I realized I was also too sensitive. So I don't know where the problem was. And my father knew I was very sensitive. So he always stood for me. He stood with me, and then but so that can also bring conflict.
So you said that conflict is a misunderstanding,
a fight or quarrel.
Exactly. And then some of the familiar causes of conflict in our marriages and relationships is money, how to raise the children, jealousy here and there, and
families,
in-laws, extended family, third persons, extended family. Sometimes the neighbors could be, they will come. Where is mother? But I saw her. Hey, and then you don't handle it. Exactly. if you don't handle that, then it will generate into conflict. Thank you. So how should we, this modern generation, modern marriages, how should we handle conflict when they arise? Because it is bound to arise.
So we should learn to be tactful, find out, reasons. If somebody tells you that I saw your husband here, and they find out whether it's true or not, rather than based on, speculation, just mere suspicion. And then when we are, there should be a commitment that we are married for life. We don't always depend on feelings. Sometimes somebody will feel that I don't feel that passion that I had at the beginning. Yeah, that's how it's like that. You can't be passionate about your spouse all the years that you live. There will be times when you just things become routine and normal, and so you learn to accept all that. There are some spouses, they see marriage as an entertainment, so they should always be exciting. Life should always be exciting. And then there are changes. When we were young and going to marriage, they will tell you that marriage, sometimes it has surprises. You may start on a good footing, maybe money, you have money, but one day something will go wrong. The man may not have the money he had at the beginning. You need to learn to accommodate that, tolerate it, and find ways to help. There are some women, when they marry you and you get to a point where you are no longer able to provide like you used to, then they start harassing you, fighting you.
They start singing some songs in the morning.
So we should all make it understand that we are in it forever. So we'll find out ways and means of working out together. Solution we bring. Sometimes it depends on the temperament. So there are some people, when they are in a relationship with you, there's a conflict. They dwell on what they say and what they want. This is what I say, this is what I want, this is what I feel. So that's that. They don't give in, they don't take the suggestion of the other person or put themselves in the other person's shoe to find that
what's the impact of my wish on the other person.
Yes. And there are some who also withdraw, because like the melancholists, for instance, when they are hurt, they withdraw. They won't talk, maybe they won't even cook, they won't do anything, and they give you the cold shoulder for sometimes for weeks, for months. And the phlegmatics, they'll just be there.
So you've given us how to handle conflict in marriage. Conflict will come, misunderstandings will come, but you are saying that when they come, one, we must be committed. Once you are committed to the relationship, to the marriage, then you would find a way to make it work. Then you say we should be tactful. How to manage things in a very mature, tactful manner can help to quell some of the conflict.
Sometimes when we are angry, we say things we regret later. And it's one of the key things that we impress upon our premarital counselors. When you say something, you may apologize later, but then it has broken something. So there was that lady who said you told the husband that your uncivilized mother and sisters, your sisters who don't really know how to use and blend and you must apologize later, but then it has there's a scar somewhere. So is that how you think, what you think of my mother? Is that why you think you feel crassiful?
That's right.
So when we are angry, you should watch our words, because you cannot take back what you say wrong.
You can't recant words. Once they come, they are out.
And it's either if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. Don't take anything at all.
When we run camps, and when I say we lead Africa, when we run camps, we teach the children to imagine a stop button on their forehead and to press it counting 5 backwards. So imagine anytime you are angry, you want to say something, or you want to fight. Maybe somebody has pushed you on the school compound and you feel like returning and hitting. Just stop imagine a stop button and count 5 backwards. That will help you to calm down, and then you can now think about your next course of action.
Yes.
And I think it goes for adults as well, that before you say something, relax, chill, and count 5 backwards before you zoom
I think
in.
there's one important we've left out: prayer. No marriage succeeds without prayer. And especially the women, we are, the little things in life interest us. We take we care about the little details of life. So in every home there should be at least one intercessor and their wife, and then the men, we have a family one, the man and the wife can pray together, but the women should make it more of their, because your prayer will determine how your marriage lasts and how it stands.
Wow.
Very, very
like
important.
That. Your prayer life will determine how your marriage will last. I like that.
And then we were talking about, earlier on, we talked about today's marriage partners and those in previous years. The previous years, the women had patience. A woman could pray for 10 years for her husband to change, and they changed in the end. I know one relative who, the wife prayed, each that woman suffered, but the man changed and he became an elder of a thriving church. But these days people don't have patience.
1 hour.
And then they give up.
1 hour if you don't change. Sometimes
we tell God that we want to do something big for Him, and sometimes the big thing that you want to do
is your husband, your spouse, your wife,
your child. Those are the areas that
they are your ministry. You must take it, intercede, and make sure that it works. Thank you. Thank you. What about finances? How did your generation handle finances in marriage?
In our days, the money was mainly controlled by the man. He would go to work and then bring money, and then you pay for certain things. There were women who were also hardworking. In fact, where I come from, there are very many women who stood alone, though married, they stood alone to look after their children. Maybe
some 3 jobs.
Not necessarily, maybe selling, going to the farm, if they were not that educated. But they were more, they would do anything to look after their children and give them good education. And then the men sat under the tree doing the dummy or so whatever.
Draft.
So.
But what would be your advice for today's generation of married people? Today the wife earns, the husband also earns. How should they handle the issue of finances? Because it is becoming a major issue, breaking and putting asunder a lot of marriages.
I think every marriage is different. Every marriage has its own struggles, challenges, and all. So if there should be free communication, they should sit down and talk about how they will handle their finances. Do we put all our earnings together and use such an amount of some percent here for this? Or sometimes I also encourage that, we are coming from different backgrounds. Sometimes a wife may be a firstborn with several siblings behind, and she has to help with looking after, the school fees and all that, paying that. And then the man may be last born. He has older siblings who are self-sufficient. They are standing on their own, and they don't need his money. So he doesn't have much on his hands. And
no trailer. He doesn't have a trailer.
Yes. So it's not everybody who will be generous enough to say that, we have one bank account and you can use anything you want. So they can agree on what percentage each person should bring to the table. So they keep that together and they use that on their nuclear family, expenses and all that. Then there should be something left of each person's earnings, so that if I have siblings I have to look after, or my parents are alive and they are old and I need to help them with their medical bills and all that, then it doesn't affect you.
Okay.
But there should be an open thing.
It should be discussed
And open, and then there should be, honesty. Honesty. Sometimes I was going to broadcasting some years ago, and then I needed to give the soldier the form I filled at the reception.
Outer reception.
There are so many books in my bag, I couldn't find. They say, hey, another woman. I live in the same room with a woman. I never know where she keeps her money. I said, anytime, as long as he was in the room, the woman will never. But I think that sometimes the women are justified. I know of cases where the woman was earning more and giving the man money, and the man was also, sending the money somewhere
else. Wow, from the sweat of the woman. Wow.
So, but if we are honest and sincere with each other, we talk about it. It doesn't matter. Some women may earn more and they will be prepared to pay more.
Yeah.
But it depends on how you also treat her. If she these emotional needs, if you don't respect her and she can't trust you, that one she may not freely give.
Okay. So once again, I pick up one communication that we should communicate and agree how the family is going to spend its money, which pots we'll be using the money for. And then you are saying that there should be honesty. We should be honest with each other so that we are clear with regards to incomes and then expenses. And then you're also saying that honesty itself is also dependent on how the woman feels, whether she feels emotionally secure in the marriage. Then she would be able to commit and be open and honest about her earnings, so she does not hide somewhere as an insurance.
Well, to be fair to the men, sometimes they don't give the money, but the women misuse the money.
Oh, okay.
And I know of a case where the woman was even cooking and sending the food to somewhere. Somewhere unacceptable.
So and then sometimes they buy too many clothes. The women.
So there should be
too many clothes, too many shoes, too many bags. Venezuelan hair 5,000. Indian hair 4,500. Eyeshadow 100 Ghana. So the women to calm down small. Awesome. It's been a very fantastic experience sitting at your feet and learning from you how you did it, how you managed it, and what we can learn as the entire modern day family.
Next on Famlo.
When I was raising my children, there were no cell phones.
Yes.
There were no all those things that too. So if sometimes the children come and visit and you realize that they are caught up in their own world.
Yeah.
Everybody is holding their phone, their this and they don't even
catching up.
Yes. So in our time, no. And my children's time, they read more books. They brought books to the house and they competed as to who would read this and who would read that. But this time around, they don't.